this is our first like kind of interactive how-to. And so Tori Gentry is a participant and not a presenter. So she'll be sharing her screen to walk everybody through exactly how to take advantage of the things that you can do on your page on our website that come as part of your basic membership.
Thank you.
I also asked Jen Lewis to join us. Clay Hill Farm is probably one of the most prolific users of the calendar. And so I asked
the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, so I have asked Jen to join us just to kind of talk a little bit about why she makes the time to list the events and what kind of response that's gotten for Clay Hill Farm. So Tori, I think we'll probably, after we do the introductions, have Jen talk a little bit about how she uses it, and then we'll turn it over to you for that, to walk us through the how-to.
Okay.
Okay, so on my screen, I have got Captain Bob.
Good morning, everyone. So I run the Cove Runner out of Parkins Cove. It's a power catamaran, and I take people out on boat trips, pleasure trips, not fishing or anything like that. And I had a very busy summer. The Cliff House sent me a bunch of customers, which was really nice because they wanted the private tour. You know, I only take one family or group at a time. And Tori's sister came out, not this year, but last year. They seemed to have a fun time. So happy to be here and learn something. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Okay, Jen.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Lewis from Clay Hill Farm. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks, Alice, for asking.
And Jacob, you're up next on my screen.
Jacob, so formal. Jake Hirsch, with a fun spelling on my name, I see there. Jake Hirsch at Crooked Pine and Dixon Broad.
I get confused because my daughter's boyfriend's name is Jacob, and if I call him Jake, he freaks out. So forgive me. Okay, then I have Connie Griffin.
Hi. I don't know. Can you see me?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay. I own Jav, the small coffee shop in the Cove, and CNS Toy Chest. And as you can see, I'm not home right now, but I'm still interested in what's going on.
Awesome. Thanks, Kathleen.
Yep, Kathleen Conway. I own KC Cottage Rentals, and I do rentals in the area. I have 18 properties that I manage. Wells and a few in Ogunquit.
Thank you. David.
Hi, I'm David Nosnik. I'm a CPA and also treasurer of the
Okay, let's see. I think Allie is next on my screen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Allie, and I am the Director of Marketing for the Colonial Inn and the Admiral's Inn.
Okay, and Melody.
Hi, I'm Melanie Federa. We're brand new here at the Grasshopper Inn in Ogunquit, and we're super excited. It's our first year. We're getting ready to open April 1st, so we're really excited and happy to be here.
Okay, and then we've got Eileen.
Hi, Alice.
Hi.
I am the owner of the Tea Space on Main Street in Ogunquit, and I'm closed right now, closed for January and February, but we'll be opening sometime probably in March.
All right, and then my last word is Carol.
Hi, I'm Carol Elliott. I don't know why my picture's not showing because it did yesterday on another Zoom, but I'm the manager of the Sparhawk Resort.
All right, thank you. And did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody. Okay, I'll turn it over to Jen.
Okay, thanks. So, you know, honestly, I didn't think that we were doing a great job with the events calendar until Alice asked me to speak today. So it feels like there's always something more to do. And you know, one of the things that when I was thinking about how to track response, because it is one of those things that it's very difficult. It's always been difficult to track response. Sometimes people will say, you know, I found you ... but most of the time they don't. So it's just a matter of, you know, how many things you can do and hope that one of them reaches people. But when it comes to the chamber calendar, I can honestly tell you that I learn more when I don't do it, because I had people say to us, you know, oh, I how come this event isn't on the chamber list? And that's really how I found out it worked, is when I didn't do something. So sometimes that's the way that we learn is when we don't do something and people mention it. But you know, it's a great resource. The weekly calendar. I find particularly that it keeps your name out there for people who are tuning in that aren't necessarily right here. You know, a lot of times when people are seasonal and they're not right here in the wintertime. You know, I'll get an email from somebody, or somebody will reach out on Facebook and say, oh, I saw that you were doing such and such on the chamber newsletter. So, you know, it's really reaching people and keeping your name out there, more so than the ability to track it specifically. Or spontaneously, you know, if I post something and realize that I forgot to post something and I put it up and, you know, it's only a week between when I put it up and the event, you know, it's hard to gauge, but every little bit helps. And particularly in this new, you know, in this new world with online being so important, and with, you know, with all of us being boots on the ground too, you know, it's really hard to stay on top of all of the changing technologies. And sometimes, you know, I find that what's been frustrating with the new model is that a lot of the old things that we used to do for word of mouth, you can't do anymore. You know, there's not as much interaction. There's not as much flyering.
Connie's on
you know.
here, my love.
Oh.
Yeah. You can see her in her.
Anyway, so, you know, with some of the things that, some of the tools that we used to use, not, you know, being available, anything online that you can do works really well, I find, at least just getting our name out there. And but thanks for Alice for, you know, for the nod. I honestly wouldn't say I was doing a particularly good job, so I'm really grateful to know that, you know, that I have been posting.
Thanks. Thanks, Jen. And that's just one of the things that Tori's going to cover today. There's actually several different things that you can do even with the digital platform that comes free with your membership. So I just knew that when talking about these things, we wanted to have someone talk about why they do it. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Tori, and let me make sure that I can give you the ability to share your screen. You don't want to see mine. Whoops. See, I told you we'd have some technical difficulties here. Okay. All right. So
I think I have it, Alice.
All right.
Find out in a second.
Right. Okay. I had to switch from me just to multiple, so you should be able to do it now.
So hi, everybody. I think everybody on the screen, for the most part, knows me already. We've met in some way, except maybe Allie. I have not met you in person yet, so nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. But everybody else, I think I've met and exchanged words with, either telephone or emails at some point or another. I've been with the Chamber for 4 years now, and I'm a local, so please feel free to reach out to me about anything at any time, not just what we're talking about today. But for the most part, we're going to focus on the basic digital package, which is included in everybody's membership. Next month, we will join together again to look more in depth at the enhanced part of people's digital packages, which I know some of you on this call today do have the enhanced. So I apologize, we won't get to some of that today, but I think it would be overwhelming for those that just have the basic, not to mention for everybody. It's a lot of information. So I'm just going to bring up really quick. So let me share my screen. Okay, first of all, I'm usually just a participant like all of you. I've never actually been one to kind of navigate and share screens. So this might be a little bit glitchy, so really truly bear with me. So the first thing, see, I'm already having problems. I don't know.
Is Dawn here, Tori?
Yeah, she's right here if I need her. I guess
you should be able to click.
Hit this first.
Yeah, hit that.
Okay, and it's going to be me. Okay, there we go. All right. So the first thing I want to show everybody is this form, in case you haven't seen it before. This basically breaks down what is included in everybody's basic membership, which is these top 8 things here. And then for those of you that have the enhanced, it shows you all of the other things that you can do, which some of you may or may not be taking advantage of, and we will get to next time. But for now, I just want to focus on what everybody automatically gets. I want to show you the things that pretty much automatically are there already because it's a button I have already clicked or engaged for you. But there are certain things that it's your responsibility to update or add in. So some of the things that are automatically there already are the Google Maps, the links to your web pages on the search results and the members page, as well as your social media links. That's something, you know, I'm in the process of going through now and will be clicking and making sure are there for you. But some of the things that are your responsibility to make sure, because they are ever changing, are things like your description, which is that 200 characters that get printed in the visitor guide. Everybody's is pretty much there already, but those are things that I can show you how you can edit as you know, your business changes seasonally and whatnot. Your hours and driving directions are really important to keep updated because we are such a seasonal community, whether it's a, you know, thank you closed for the season, or, you know, 7 days a week now that we're in season. However it is, it's really easy to update and important to for obviously the visitors to our pages, but even us here in the chamber, it's an easy place for me to go and check. And then obviously the job postings and the events are going to be two of the things we focus on today to show you where you go and really how simple it is just to fill in the fields as much or as little as you want. So if anybody doesn't have this or wants it, I can certainly email this to you so that you can have a closer look at it. Just let me know. All right, so the next thing I want to go over is making sure that everybody even knows how to log into their member information center. I got to figure out how I can see everybody again, just by like kind of a raise of hands. Don, how do I make my screen big again so I can see everybody? I can't see everybody. Hang on, everybody. How do I make it so I can see everybody again? So that it's not.
Just stop share at the bottom.
I got to stop the share for now. Okay. All right. So thank you. Okay. Dawn, my trusty sidekick. She's here. Hi, Dawn. Hi. We have fun here. Does everybody know how to actually log into the Member Information Center? Is there anybody that doesn't know how to log in to be able to access the area in which you make these changes? Eileen. Okay, so I will show that to you guys really quick. I looked up most everybody's information beforehand. There may be a few of you that I didn't get a chance to. For the most part, it looks like everybody has a login. That doesn't mean you may not have forgot what it is and can't log in anymore, or you may not. So if you have forgotten your login for some reason, you can email me. I will give you your login, and then basically I will send you a request to reset a password. If you don't have a login, then I'll send you an invitation to create one from scratch. Once you do have your login and your password, you basically very easily go to Ogunquit.org's website, so our website. This here is the home page, and you just go to the Member Center, Member Login. Once you click in Member Login, it's real simple. You put your username and password in, whatever they may be, and sign in, okay? And then that will bring you to the home page of the Member Information Center. And I'm going to show you a test page that I've started to kind of just really quickly put together on my end, but I also want to show you, I'll probably pull up a couple of yours just so you can see what you guys look like. So I'm not going to do this for myself because I work in a little bit of a different way, so bear with me. I'm going to sign in differently. I apologize, but hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Where you go, simple, put your login in and your password. And of course, this isn't going to work for me now, but okay. All right, so I'm going to bring up one of you guys, if you don't mind. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. Hang on 1 minute. Connie, do you mind if I use your page as an example for everybody? Can you unmute Connie for a second, Alice?
Yeah, she has to unmute herself, but.
Oh,
Okay.
Connie, do you mind if I use Java's page to kind of use an example for people?
No, not at all.
Okay, is there anybody that will object to me bringing up their page for any reason? No? Okay, just making sure. I don't want to, you know,
Free
put anybody on the
advertising,
spot, but
Tori.
what's that?
Free advertising, right?
Right, there you go. All right, so back to my screen share. All right, so Connie.
So Tori, right now, this is, we come in through a different, this is kind of like the chamber admin way in. So you could ignore this screen because you guys will.
Yeah.
Again.
This is my view and how I get to your personal databases. And I have a different way to log into what you see. So yeah, ignore this page. Basically, if you were to go, like I said, to the member center, member login, put your login and password in, the homepage that comes up for you looks like this. This should be Java. Oops, that's Cove Runner. We'll come back to you, Bob. Don't worry. I'm having a hard, the little way this thing keeps popping up and down is messing me up. If it's good, I had all these ready to go. I don't know where you went, my dear Connie. Hang on 1 second. Again, pay no attention to what I'm doing because you can't do it this way. I told you, I've never done this before.
I don't dare do anything except sit here.
No worries, you're doing a great job.
Yes, there it is. I saw
Here we
it.
go. So this, once, if Connie was doing this and she put in her login and password, this is what a home page looks like. Pretty much everybody's home page is going to look pretty similar because there's always a lot of information, your welcome message, events. There's people that have recently added events, so that's what you can see here. But this is basically your home page. The only reason I know this is Java is because up here it tells me that it's Java's, and once we get into some of the personal and company information, it becomes more obvious. So you obviously have some things across the top here. We're going to get to events a little bit later, but just some other things to point out to you all that you have access to as basic membership. Resources, a lot of times something like this digital page here are put into these resources, and you can see some of these different things, whether it's an explanation of our sponsorships or the digital breakdown. And if there's ever something not there, I can put it there, or again, we can just email it to you separately. Reports, a lot of stuff in the report section, like say you're interested in knowing what kind of clicks and whatnot your page is getting. It can show you member visibility. So this is some real basic information about what kind of activity your member page is getting on our website. So that's really important too. So I just wanted to point those two things out. If you had a bill, let's say, and you had a balance on your account, in this upper right-hand section, there would be a tab that says bill or account. I'm sure there's somebody in here that has an outstanding balance, not in a bad way, that I can show you would have that. So you can see what it looks like. I'll pull up somebody's that might have a small balance due still. So those are just some things there. Part of the reason I chose Connie, so kudos to Connie, is as you can see her profile is like 100%. She's really put a lot of work into all that a basic membership allows you to do. So the next thing we're going to go to, so you can see again some of these things we've talked about, these top 8 things, where you actually filled a lot of this in is on one page. So again, if we're on the home page and you're going to want to update some of those things from that spreadsheet, you go to your company information. And then again, keep in mind, this is your presence on ogunquit.org's website. So once you get to company information, you go to website information, because that's what a lot of this is. And here in the website information, it almost goes right down in order to the information we talked about. Here's your 200-character description that also gets printed in the visitor's guide. Here's where you can easily update your hours as they change with the seasons. Driving directions if you choose. Keywords is another big one that very few people take the time to put just a half a dozen words or so that are going to help if somebody uses the search engine on our website to say they want to find a, a bakery or a coffee shop. If these keywords aren't here, they're not going to find you as easily. So this is huge to have this in here as well. So just right there on this page, again, I'm going to bounce back to this form, and please tell me if I'm going too willy-nilly, but we just covered most of the stuff. We've covered the 200-character, the hours and driving directions, the search engine. All the other stuff, except for the job openings and events, are stuff that's already there and I've done for you. So again, what I'm going to do now is show you what Connie's page looks like on our website. All right, so again, bear with me. This is the way I do these things. This is not how you would do it, but it's easier for me. So here's Connie's page. She's got her name, what she is, her address, phone number, the website. Again, that's a button that I've already clicked for her, her Facebook page. And then this is all of that information that she's entered there. And then there's the Google Maps as well, which you've got two Google Maps really. There's this one that gives you the visual, but people can also click on this here and it's going to bring up another map for them to be able to help them navigate further to find you. And again, that's an automatic in there. That's not anything you have to do. So that's what her page looks like. And you can see she's really got a lot of information there. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second so I can see everybody, but any questions, clarification, before I just keep rambling on and on?
No, you're doing a great job. Very clear.
We agree.
All right, so the next thing then what we'll do is I'll show you where you can post a job and then we'll go to events. And again, the thing with jobs and events that's really important is it's not arbitrary that you're not just putting these things out into the universe and hoping that our visitors see them. Every time you go into your member information center and make any kind of change, we are notified. All 3 of us, I believe, certainly me. Every time you post a job, I have to approve it just in case there's, typos or, whatever it may be. Same thing with events. So not only are you getting the word out there to visitors and members about these opportunities, it brings it forefront to us too, so that I know if someone calls here, hey, do you have any kind of intel on job opportunities in Ogunquit? Well, yes, I could go look at the website, but I already know because I've been notified, which is a double for me, because I don't want to have to be constantly checking it. Because I get notified, I can always be top of mind who's got a job opening and who's got events going on. I mean, I don't get as many calls about jobs as I do about, hey, what's going on in Ogunquit this weekend? Is anything open? Who's got a thing going on? And if you guys are putting these things up there, I know so much faster and easier than having to go to everybody's website and find out who's doing what and what's going on, hours, all that kind of stuff. So keep that in mind, because it's an added little side benefit to getting it out there on the web, but bringing it to our attention as well. Okay, so back to sharing the screen, we'll show you.
So Tori, just,
Yep.
I don't know if she meant to do it or not, but I saw Connie had a hand raised on her.
Oh, sure. Hang on, let me come back. Okay.
No, I didn't mean to.
Okay, all right. Okay.
That's okay.
Back to you,
I'm
Tori.
sorry.
No worries.
Thank you.
All right, so back to jobs. Actually, I'm just gonna back up for real hot second here, because I created kind of like a little, oh, I tried to bring up the test page, that didn't work. Okay, never mind. Okay, so back to jobs. Gotta find, so, all right, so now we're gonna use David. Okay, is that, if that's okay? Because he's the first one that popped up. But again, here we are on the homepage of who could be anybody, but it's David Nosnick's in this case. So it looks very similar. Here in that upper right section is where I told you if you have any kind of outstanding balance, it will tell you, and simple buttons to be able to click and pay. I'll also show you where you can look at billing. So if there's nothing there, but you need to make reference to a past bill, or it's a larger bill that you really need to look at and break down for some of the larger properties, I'll show you where. But just for you guys to know, it's so simple and easy to pay online. If that is how you do business, you can do it right through the Member Information Center. You can also always request us to email you an invoice, and there's always a button to click to pay through that as well. All right, so back to job postings. Again, a lot of what you're gonna do is gonna be on this left-hand side. And the job postings, it's right there. You just click on job postings. And it's real simple, add job posting. If you have a job posting in there already, or let's say, you know, you're a big property, some of the hotels or whatnot, like Carol with the Sparhawk, are gonna have multiple jobs, whether it's housekeeping or front desk. If you have more than one job, it's real easy to manage your jobs, edit them, so on and so forth. And again, every time you add a job or make any changes, we get notified so that we are aware and make sure that it's getting out there on the web appropriately. So for here, we're just gonna click add job posting, and it's just a real simple form to fill in as much or as little as you like. Title, description of the job. Again, you know, whether you put information in this metadata or not, the category in which you're looking for, you know, whatever it may be. So, you know, David's is very specific about what he might be looking for. And again, a lot of this information auto-fills because it's part of your membership. Some of the big things down here, you know, the active dates in which you want the job to appear on our website. You can add a photo so that people are familiar with what the property is that it looks like, so they know where they're going to possibly be working. You can save as a draft if it's something you're working on for a little while, but eventually you just submit it for approval. It comes to me, and most likely, unless it's a weekend or, you know, my days off, it's approved immediately and you'll be able to see it right on our website. So let me just stop sharing. Does anybody have any questions? I don't mean to make that simpler than it is, but it really is pretty simple once you know where to go to be able to do it. Any questions? Okay. So I love the thumbs up, Melanie. Thank you. All right, so back to, hang on. So now we will go and we'll look at events. So I'm just going to come back to the home. So we're always kind of working from the same place, because this, you know, if you're coming in and logging in just to do an event, again, this is the first screen you're going to see, and events is just right up here. And again, it's a simple fill-in form. Well, again, add events or manage events. So somebody like Jen at Clay Hill, who has a lot of events in there from now through, you know, spring and so on and so forth, she can go in and manage these events, you know, because let's say there's a bad storm coming in and she has to cancel an event or it's going to be rescheduled. You can manage those things, update things, things happen, things come up. So just know that you can do that there. And then again, if it's a brand new event and you're starting from scratch, you just simply add an event And again, it's just filling in all the fields as much or as little as you want. It's really up to you. Titling your event, the dates, the hours. You know, sometimes it's a whole weekend event. Like I just helped Coastal Wine put in an event, and it was kind of all weekend long, different hours, different days. So in a case like that, you would just put like the 11th through the 14th and leave this blank. Somebody like Jen at Clay Hill, a lot of her things are reoccurring weekly or whatnot. So that's going to be an important field to look at. And then of course, the description. And down here, again, it's as much as you want to put in. The events, these things are really important: location, date, time, any kind of fee. So somebody like Jonathan's, for example, with all of their concerts, everyone is a little bit different. So that's important information, contact information, and then the categories, you know, if it's a holiday event, if it's a festival, celebration, whatever it may be. Audrey, if you want to put in an event, you know, for an art show, obviously you're going to be under art and culture, things like that. And again, photos, a lot of times events, if it's a concert or a specific person or a personality, you're going to want people to see who they are. If it's an event that you've had year after year after year, you know, you're going to have past photo events, and you can add all those things here. These, as you can see, it will say, you know, header, main event, search results. Those appear in different places on the web. And then within the event, you have an entire gallery you can add if you want to. So it really beefs it up. And again, Google Maps, if it's a performance of some kind, you might have a video from a past event. I mean, these events pages can really be impressive. So a lot you can do there. Again, it's a matter of clicking the buttons and putting as much or as little as you want and submitting it for approval. And it's, again, approved pretty much the same day you do it, unless it's, I'm not here. Let me stop sharing my screen for that. Anybody have questions about the events page?
Troy, can you show everybody what an events page looks like once they've filled out?
Sure. Yep,
form?
give me a second. I'm gonna go in kind of my way to bring up some of Clay Hill Farms events. So bear with me, because this is not how you would necessarily get to some of them. Actually, hang on, I'm gonna actually do it a different way so you can see how a member or a visitor. So here we are. This is ogunquit.org. This is our website. This is what we're talking about: maximizing your digital presence on our website. That's what we're all here doing today. So if a visitor is coming to Ogunquit and they go to ogunquit.org and they go to events page, so here we are in the events calendar. So our annual events, everybody knows those: Patriots, the 4th of July fireworks, Ogunquit Fest, Christmas by the Sea. That's specific to that. But here is our events calendar. And depending on how the visitor, you know, works visually, you have the calendar can look like this, and it's just real simple little descriptions, or it can look like this, which is how I prefer, because it really shows you how people can put, this is where one of the images would come up in the search results, and how some people, most everybody utilizes that, because why wouldn't you? But if it didn't, it would just simply say Clay Hill Farm across with nothing real imaginative. I would just be their name. So here we'll click on Clay Hills. And so again, here's another place where Jen has added the image and again, the logo. And then I knew she'd have lots of pictures. So here is that photo gallery, the description, the title. Here is where you see the date, the times, the location, cost, website, contact information. All those fields often end up on this right-hand side under the reminder and whatever. Again, another image. These are all specific spots. This spot, and this spot are very specific in those uploadings. And then this is the gallery down here. Wonder if I have, let's see, oh, wait a second, I know what I want to do. So they're going to get a little few and far between as we go ahead, but this Robert Frost one, that's you, right, Jen, at Clay Hill? Yeah. So here's an example of, you know, one of her performance things. So again, here's the example of, you know, showing who this is, what this is. Yeah. So I'm just going to come back out of here for a second. Anybody have any questions or anything that they want me to pull up or show you how to get to? I will go back and do that billing thing that I mentioned too. But
Looks like I've got some work to do.
and
Wow.
Melanie, that's
a lot.
totally,
Good job, Jen. That's amazing. Good
and
job.
Melanie, where you're new to this, you know, like I said, we're going to
Let's-
have another one on enhanced. So for now, this will be really good to get all that basic in there. You've actually gotten a good start with the Grasshopper. With your enhanced, you've got quite a bit up there. So, but there's a lot
Thank
more
you.
with the enhanced you can do. We'll get to for sure. Kathleen, did I see you raise your hand?
Yes, so I have a question. So I don't, you know, where this is events and it's a special date and a time, I wouldn't have anything like that where I do rentals, but it would be nice to have a place where I could show some pictures of maybe some of my rentals. So if not here, is there any other place I could put my pictures, or could you do something like booking now for the summer, or are there any opportunities like that on the webpage?
So for some of that, it would require you upgrading to the enhanced digital,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
as a renter, it may be something you really want to consider, or at least next month, tune in to see the enhanced digital, because
Okay.
you can add pictures of your properties, you can add videos, you can add links. So like, let's say you can add up to 5 links in the enhanced digital. And let's say you have, I know you said you had what, 16 or 18 properties,
18
but
properties, yeah.
let's say there's 5 that are really your premier properties. Maybe you put direct links in that, or you switch them every month, something like that. So as someone who's in the real estate side of things, and it is such a visual thing, kind of like lodging with rooms and
Right.
restaurants with food, you might want to consider that additional investment.
Okay.
Yeah, we basically, like, as we're getting ready for the higher season, we're basically taking a lot of time, February, March, April, to get our website really, really buffed out.
Okay.
Basically, I think every lodging property and then any restaurant that has some good food photography should absolutely be an enhanced package, because you know probably better than anybody that if you're looking for a place to stay, you want to see what it looks like before you.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. And
So-
how much is the enhanced package?
It's $220 for
So
the
it's only $20 more, or
220 for the year.
220 more than the regular?
Yep. But again, Tori will be doing a seminar on that. There's, I mean, and Tori, maybe before we hop off, I know Clay Hill has the enhanced on theirs, and they've actually done a pretty good job. We can show you what the package looks like.
I'll show you the difference.
Your appetite to come back in a month then.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Allie.
Yeah, I just had a quick question about the keywords. Do they all need to be single words, or can it be 2 words together, like pet friendly? Or does that not work?
And something in the case of pet friendly, yes, I would definitely put in pet friendly. I know Admirals just became pet friendly. Is that going to be year round, or is that just certain times of the year?
Yeah, it'll be year round.
Okay. So, that's something I need to make an adjustment on my end, but yes. So I'm going to share my screen again so you can see where somebody might be putting in a search word and why those keywords are so important. If you have it blank, they're not going to find you as easily.
Okay. But if you wrote down like close to the beach, is that, too long?
Again, I don't think so. Let's look at this, because I think anybody could probably put in the keywords close to the beach if they wanted to. They might just put beach or near the water. I would imagine that you could put in longer things. I think it's designed to do it more like 1 word at a time, but I don't see why you couldn't. We can kind of test it out right now all together. So let me just, so come back. Here we are on our home page. And so there's a couple different places. Somebody is going to go look for something, whether it's stay, eat, play. But if you scroll down again, here is a lot of that same stuff, and the business directory is where someone's going to really search if they're not finding what they're looking for. So here's the keywords area. So here's everybody again by their category. And again, the keywords, different ways you can search, either by category, letter, or a keyword. So so just by putting that in, you can see some of these that have popped up. And whether it's reading just beach or close to the beach, I can't really say for certain without going and looking at, say, the Footbridge Beach or Stage Run. But my guess is somewhere in their keywords, they have at least the word beach. But you can see here is 217 found of all of our members. So, but here we can do pet friendly too. Yours might not pop up only because it's a newer thing for Admirals Inn, and I need to add that for you. Oops, I'm forgetting what I'm doing. So 32 pet friendly, which is interesting because I know not all of these are pet friendly.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. This is like they are not. I'm looking at that going, that one's not pet friendly.
So it could be that friendly is something that they've put in there. Who knows? But I do want to show you, Allie, and I will make sure that this is included. Bear with me again. I gotta remember where I want to go back to here. So obviously we have like a lodging section people can look in, but we do have a separate pet, dog friendly lodging because it is such a requested thing. And you'll see that you guys aren't here yet. I just have to go click a simple button that allows the site to know that you are now pet friendly, and you'll appear here as well. I'll actually do that really quick. Just so that you can see how quick some of these things, like sometimes there are things that I need to do for you. So like, just know that for the most part, it's a real simple ask, and it's a click of a button on my end. If it helps you and your business, just please don't ever hesitate to reach out. And even some of the stuff that we're talking about today, if you want a little bit more of a one-on-one, for any reason, let me know. We can definitely do that. So I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing, but this is all it takes on my end to make it so that hopefully Admirals Inn shows up now under pet friendly as well as lodging. So yeah.
Tori, I have a suggestion. You may just put your terms like pet friendly in quotes when you're creating your keywords. That might help people to find that exact term. I don't know if that's
yeah, that's a great point for everybody here and for me. Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions about some of that? I will bring up a more enhanced digital listing so people can see the difference in case it's a direction you're thinking about doing, for those of you that aren't already enhanced. And then again, I'll still show you that billing section. All right, so let me just show you the billing really quick because that's easier. So who have I got now? So here we are with, this is Coastal Williams, Keller Williams, Coastal Realty. I don't believe they're here with us today, but they were possibly going to be. So, so again, here we are on the home page. When you log in, this is going to be the first place you come. And then take me just a second. Company information, I think, is where you're going to go. And then at the bottom, it will have billing. So again, you're on that home page, company information. This is where we went for that website information. If you were an enhanced digital investor, this is where you would add your logos, your photos, your videos, again, all under that company information. And here is that billing page so that you can go and see, you can make a payment, you can see your transaction history, your payment profile, all of your billing information here is really accessible as well for anybody that has wondered if, you know, they want to be able to view something, and just know you don't always have to bother us. I'm not going to bring up their billing information because that is pretty private. So if anybody wants to help them with that further and look how to understand their invoices and stuff like that, myself or Dawn can help you with those kinds of things as well. And then now let me bring up somebody that is an enhanced digital. I'm going to bring up, so we'll go back into Admirals and Colonial because they are enhanced to show you, you know, either how much you are doing, Allie, or what you can still do and the potential for that. I had you guys up earlier, but let's see. All right, so here we are on Admiral's page. So again, one of the things that you can do is have a big header logo. There's lots of actual logo options for enhanced. You can have header logos like this. There can be a smaller one right here in front of it. You can do any or all of them. If we were to go out, I think you guys probably saw before on the search results page how her logo was smaller. Let me just see if I can't find it here real quick. So you can see how a lot of these little logos you would be able to have if you had an enhanced digital. Otherwise, it just spells out the name of the property like this. They don't have their logo there. So just to give you a sense of that, of course, now I'm not like finding you guys. So again, here, highlights. So this highlight section here where they have this link, this is where as an enhanced digital investor, you have up to 5 links. So let's say the Admirals Inn has just stellar TripAdvisor reviews. You could add a thing to your TripAdvisor. You could add a link to your Instagram, or you could add a link to your booking engine and, you know, book here kind of thing. Here's the gallery of photos. And again, she could add a video. It allows you to do far more than just the 200 character. You could really get into depth there. I will actually bring up the Chambers page to give you an example of how little or much you can have. Again, I'm sorry that this is not how you would get places, but it's much quicker for me to do it this way. So again, here's the Ogunquit Chamber page, big header, small logo, basic information, LinkedIn, Facebook, hours, driving directions, and then look at how much is in the About Us, far more than what a basic member can do. Great video, 5 different links here. And then again, your images, and you can organize your images in specific timelines that you want and little descriptions. So that's just a little bit of an example of how much more you can do. Yeah, any other questions or anything else somebody might like to see, or?
Or maybe pull up, I'm trying to think of somebody who actually has embedded a video on their page, maybe Granite Gorge.
Well,
I'm sorry, Gorgeous Granite Gorge is a ski area in New Hampshire. Boy, did I
well,
there. Okay.
Can you see this right now? Am I sharing my screen? Hold on, I don't think I'm sharing the screen. Hold on. Well, just right now on our webpage, the chamber site, here's a video right here.
Right. And so like if you're a lodging property, you might, you know, again, if you've done a virtual walk around your property, you could put that there. You can see all those images. You could have pictures if you, you know, like Admirals, if you wanted to show different rooms that you have available, you could put the different room pictures up. There's also, I think, a real advantage for the lodging properties is you can have 5 different links. So with the basic package, you're just going right to your homepage, but you can have, just like here, you know, if you scroll down.
Oh, sorry. They didn't have a video, so I was.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, so she has these different links to different parts of the website so that you can go to the specials or whatever. So I think, again, for lodging properties and for restaurants that have good imagery, that this is really like is a key thing is, and again, with the importance of digital now, I mean, everybody's going to the website to take a look at what you offer, so. So that's a little bit of difference between what the basic is and what the enhanced is. And Tori will walk you through, and the enhanced is just as easy to upload and manage as the basic is. It just gives you a lot more functionality and the ability to do a lot more on your webpage on our site. Any questions? Are you guys psyched? Ready to go?
And like I said, if it was overwhelming in any way and you want a little bit one-on-one for that first time that you're in there, whether it's basic or enhanced, feel free. We can do it over the phone, or if you're comfortable coming in and sitting down with me for 20 minutes or so, we can do that. If anybody does want me to send them that sheet that I had shown you, if you don't have it, please just shoot me or Alice an email, Tori@ogunquit.org, Alice@ogunquit.org, and I can send that to you, or anything that you might want to know. Just let us know.
All right, and Tori and I talked about doing our enhanced presentation next month, second Tuesday, so it would be March 11th.
Second Thursday.
Second Thursday, yeah, sorry. Thank you.
Same time.
And we'll promote,
same time, same place.
We try to promote it 2 or 3 different times, once in the member newsletter and then a few standalone emails, so you guys will certainly know what's going on. One thing, since I've got all of you captive, that I'd love to know, what are some of the other topics you'd like us to cover on these Thursday chamber conversations? Like last week, we did a legislative overview. We may be setting one up on as things get more definite about the summer foreign J1s and H2Bs, something on foreign workers. I'm looking for, so believe it or not, we don't have a marketing company as a chamber member. So I reached out to a friend of mine who just started his own marketing company to see if he wants to do something on best practices for social media. I know Jake had, and one thing I'm looking at is how to set up an online shopping or menu ordering, was a suggestion that Jake had. Are there other topics that you would like us to set up, these presentations that you'd like to see us cover? Things that could help you get ready for the spring and summer. And if no one has specific ideas, email me anytime that you do come up with something. And we'll be happy to find a local expert that can help walk you through.
So being new, my curiosity is always what's open and what's not. And I go to the Ogunquit newsletter that you always sent out. I love those links. Thank you so much. I appreciate them. But I find that they're not, maybe I'm just looking at them wrong or whatever. It's like the time frames of when they're open is key for us. Being new, I'm a little frustrated because people are coming in, they're like, we want spa, we want this, we want that. And I'm like, I don't know. So I hope I don't bother you guys too much, but I'll be asking a lot of times, what's available, what's the closest. And then I don't want to send them to a place that's not good. You guys know better than I do. Where's the best place for a spa? Like, I mean, you could send them to the Cliff House, but I know it's going to be very expensive. There's got to be alternates. There's got to be, and we would love to promote local. Everything we're trying to do here is very green and very local, and then, high tech. So I really, on our end, we really need to know where's the best places. And I don't know who to ask, or without bothering you too much.
So just to kind of speak to that for a second, there's a couple things that come to mind. One is to everybody have one of these books with you. Obviously, lodging properties are going to want to have a lot of them to hand out, but everybody should have our visitor guide for their references, because it lists all the spas per se. And obviously, as a chamber employee, we want to represent all of our members equally. So like, for example, Melanie, if you were to call me and ask me, I'm going to basically list everybody that we have for you. And in the cases of a spa or massage therapy, we don't really have a lot. So having that, it's very easy for you to reference, and I would end up telling you the same thing. And then as far as like, who's open and when and what days and what times, I encourage everybody, and this is when I wish all of our members were here, to update your chamber page, update your websites and your Facebook pages, because that's where I go to find a lot of information if members aren't already engaging with us to let us know, like, hey, Tori, these are my hours or whatnot. I am constantly checking Ogunquit now to see what people are posting. I'm constantly checking everyone's Facebook page and website to see if their hours of operation have changed. So I can only provide the information that is put out there and hope that it is accurate. So that's a big thing. It would make my job so much easier and it will benefit you all so much. I know it sounds super simple, especially when it comes to websites, because everybody is super busy. And if you don't have somebody that does that for you and you're doing it yourself and you're trying to run a lodging property or a restaurant or 2 restaurants and running across Shore Road all the time, it's a lot. So, but it does help me to be able to help the members. So that would be my biggest advice there.
Perfect.
That answers your question a little bit.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. The brochure that you just showed us, is that last year's or this year's?
This is last year's, yeah. So we're
what is
in
the coming up?
The next one will probably be available, I would say, end of April, early May.
Okay.
We're just now getting starting in all the editing and double checking and things like that. So, yeah.
It'd be super important too for everybody to go on and make sure that that 200 character description that's on your webpage is accurate and is what you want to use to market yourself for the upcoming year. Because at some point in the next, I think before the middle of March, or at least by the 3rd week of March, we'll be downloading directly from the website. That's the content that we give the woman who lays out that magazine. And that's the description that goes into that visitor's guide. So it's really important to make sure that you like the way you're representing yourself right now on the website, because that's where we pull our content from.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Great. Thank you for hanging in with us for a while. That's great. Hopefully it's giving you some motivation, and it's in like as much as you saw the back door that Tori and Dawn and I all use, your interface is so much more pleasant. So you can see it's pretty easy to get your page up and running the way you want it to. So thanks for spending the time, and Jen, thanks for making time with a new puppy in the house.
Oh, thanks. And thank you, Alice and Tori, so much. You're always so helpful. And whenever we have a question, and you've done a lot for the community. So thank you for your help.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks, Tori. Thanks, Alice.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
See everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.